Hello YouTubers, Troz here, back with more of my Megabase. At least I hope it will be a Megabase. Ran into a few problems at the end of the last episode. I hope I have fixed most of them. I'll be fixing the rest of them real soon. Let's quickly show what I did. And I'm out here in the middle of nowhere for the moment, but that will be changing. So I added a second line to this long back track here. This is one way this way, and this is one way this way, and when you turn out here, so technically trains can't cross that piece of track unless they're breaking the signals. They can't go up this way, and from this way they can't go down past this signal. So if they don't turn here, I mean, I can disconnect that, but it doesn't really make a difference. If they don't turn there, they're breaking the rules. So this should fix the deadlock we had. I have updated all the signals so that the chain signals are in the right spot. So that should fix that deadlock there. The other deadlock was centered around here. This is now a chain signal. So if you're going past here, you need to have a destination outside of this crazy junction that will let you in. I also added, it seemed like a lot of trains were waiting here trying to turn south, but there was trains coming south from the north, so I added a second line here. So the train will come down here, and then it gets a chance to come in after whatever train was heading south. Go south. Although, talking just now, I noticed this. So that's bad. We want that should be a change signal as well. So that, yeah, if you're going into this intersection, you're either have a green light here, or here, or here, or wherever you happen to be heading out. So you know there's room for you before you get into the intersection. So you should never be able to stop, or there shouldn't be no need for you to stop once you've entered the intersection, because if you do, that's what causes deadlocks. The second issue was power, and I'm still in the process of adding a bunch more accumulators here. I don't have any solar, so I only had a few accumulators, mainly over here, and it's not really that many, and partially over here just to play with power level lights. This is a design I saw on Reddit. It changes to yellow and then to red at certain points. This is a design I have elsewhere in my base, and I had in older bases. This is a newer design, which the whole bar changes color depending on the power level. You can see it will be green, then cyan, blue, white, gray, which really is the same as white, yellow, red, and finally purple. I also have this one, which is, so this is basically in tens, and this is actually in units of 1. It's based on the power percentage here. But I mainly just had the accumulators to play around with this, because, I mean, they're all based off the power on the accumulators. But the real fix was, I had, well, for power right now, I have several nuclear plants. I have 4 nuclear reactor plants over here. They're all based off of a blueprint from Factorio prints, I believe. and I at one point basically, well, not ran out of power, but hit the limit. So I built 2 more quickly over here. But pretty much as soon as I did that, I'm like, well, this isn't really a long-term solution. Each of these provides just under half a gigawatt, 480 megawatts, I believe. So I had doubled it, but like I was going to be using that up pretty quick at the rate I was expanding. So I'm like, I need a bigger solution. So I found another blueprint. This one. Although I've modified it slightly, I've put in a little. This is how much U235, 238, and then actual fuel cells. You see it's turning on and off at the moment. I'll explain that in a few minutes. And this is done pretty well. This is 1.7 gigawatts when it's running full out. And yeah, until the last episode, it was serving me very well. But turning on the blue circuits, which turns on the red circuits, which turns on the green circuits, which turns on at least 2, if not more, of the big smelting arrays I have, put us up over the limit. So I've made a modified version of this. Basically, this originally didn't have these heat pipes going down here, and I felt it would take too long for these heat exchangers at the bottom to heat up, so I added some lines to get down here. This, though, adds to the buffering effect of the heat pipes and slows down the reaction time. Let's say it takes longer for when fuel gets in to heat actually produces usable steam. So I'm like, well, why is this half sticking up? Let's move it down. So, as I explained last time, I put down some landfill at the edge here. That's the one nice thing about this. All of the water pumps, offshore pumps, are right in a line along one edge. So you can just flatten the edge of a big lake, plop this down, and here you go. Another 12 reactors. Another 1.7 gigabytes. Gigawatts. So as you can see, I moved this so it's more in the center. It's still kind of focused on the top because there's this larger heat pipe bringing the heat over, and it works well. But then I thought to myself, this is the same thing you did last time with the nuclear. We reached basically the limit, so we're just putting down another copy of what we had before, and that's only going to last us so long. So I took some time yesterday and opened up a creative map. Actually, downloaded the creative mod fix. Anyway, that lets you place. Oh, you know, it's basically creative mode. You don't have to mine. You can just make whatever you want, put it down, build it. Everything builds instantly. It gives you some power sources and sinks, so it'll give you an accumulator that will suck up whatever energy you're producing, so you can see how efficient things are. And I designed I designed a new reactor of my own design, although I was inspired by a design I saw on Reddit for a 26 reactor power plant. But I did the heat exchangers my own way. That makes them a bit more compact and a bit more efficient than what the design showed. And I'll be showing that off momentarily. But first, an explanation of why are these turning on and off. So for all my other reactors, I've set up a little circuit like this. So if I point it here, you can see P over on the right side there, is the current percentage of the accumulator. And when that hits 100%, it will disconnect this power plant from the network. And then when it falls to about, I believe this one is set for 85%, it will reconnect the reactor. Because the new reactor I have building should produce just under 4 gigawatts, which should be enough. Basically, it was more power. It alone will produce more power than we were producing with all the other reactors combined. So I don't want these running at all if the main reactor, which I'll be setting up, can supply everything. However, if it's running into trouble and the power starts dipping, then I want these hooked up. The thing is, I've hooked all of these up right now, so theoretically, when we hit 100% on accumulators, every reactor is now disconnected. Now, these smaller reactors, they're set to like get connected at 75% or 80%. I have them all staggered. So you can see this one isn't turning on or off, but the way it is right now, one reactor is just about enough, but the other one does get connected periodically as the power fluctuates. It basically, it takes a little bit of time for these to spin up, and by the time these do spin up, the other reactor is needed, the other reactor's threshold is hit. But hopefully, with this new design, if you could see it, maybe I should build night vision glasses. I don't really like the way they make everything look, but if you want to see what's going on, I can do it in map view. Probably, actually. Let's turn that off. Okay, this is workable. There was a big lake here. You can kind of see the outline, and it went all the way up here, and there was a little island, and the other shore came over here. Basically a big lake. It took probably close to 4,000 landfill to fill this in, but basically there's now this narrow bit of water, and the new nuclear plant has water pumps in the middle, and they happen to fit right in the gap here. So let's place this. Now, I need to make a small bit of land. How we... And I want to be careful to... Theoretically, once these are placed, which they actually aren't yet, but you can pave over them. I want to try not to. But that should be good there, and that should be good there, and I will now just replace this blueprint. Okay. This I've tested for a few hours, and it runs well. Running full out for a few hours, these nuclear reactors only reach like 820 degrees. They don't hit the max. All of these heat exchangers get used. All of these heat exchangers do hit 500 and above. So they're making steam full time. I have roboports all around. Well, there's only 6 roboports. 2, maybe it's 8? 8. There's 3 on one side, 3 on the other, and then 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom to connect everything up. Because of that, there's a bit of a gap. Now, technically, I could let these get placed and then put some land in here, but that kind of, it leaves a little tiny patch of water here, which I don't think looks realistic, but you could fit a roboport here. And then you wouldn't need this belt. You could just all have requester chests. I do actually have a blueprint with it set up like that. This is technically redundant. I didn't notice that I had a bit of an error. Basically, I made a 2 versions of the. I made one with no belts, one with belts, and actually, well, I have this mixed version. I have a no belt version. I have an only belt version. But when making one of the versions, I didn't realize that extraneous poles got placed because I basically built one version over top of the other. But it's very minor. You know, they don't do anything. It's just a waste of a pole. Get rid of that one. And there. Okay, so this will take a while to be built. It takes like, well, I mean, we can look at the blueprint. 1.8 thousand heat pipes, 744 tanks. They hold steam. 720 turbines, 400 heat exchangers, a bunch of pipe. Oh, there you go. It's got some nice displays though. Let's set this to trees and rocks, and yeah. Basically, the way it's designed is it runs full out when it has the chance. Once the tanks here are enough to hold. Alright, if one piece of fuel takes 200 seconds to go through. If it went flat out for 2 pieces of fuel and there was no electrical load on this at all the steam could fit into these tanks and then some. So once the tanks are a bit over half full, it stops putting fuel in. And then it will just run off the steam it has. And once it drops below a threshold, it will then turn back on again until the steam fills up above that threshold. You can actually use this here to set the steam threshold. Technically, it should be 12K, half a tank. But I found that the tanks, as they start running low, can't provide enough steam to run all the turbines. So I've kicked it up to 16K, probably maybe even 20K might be better, but that's up to, you can control it. This here is a timer. You can get all the stats about this off of this poll here. If you want to completely shut it off, you set this to greater than 25K, and it will never stick fuel in because it will assume it has enough steam. You should be that. There we go. It doesn't actually make a thing that just the red will always count up. The meters. This is the 200-second counter. You can see C is that 200-second counter. The line down here is the steam level. Currently, you can see it is basically 0, and that's why it's red. Basically, if this is red, we're going to insert fuel when this reaches the top. So yeah, this is the steam level. This is what your setting is, this 16K, and that will move up and down as you change this. Let's demonstrate that. I can make this 12K. You can see it jump down. I'm going to put it to 18. So if this is above it, this will be white, and this is your steam level. And if it's below it, it will turn red, letting you know, hey, we're going to insert fuel when this hits the top, because it just did, and then resets. You see the counter is starting off at 5 seconds, 6 seconds, etc. This is something I probably should have prevented, but hey, these are heating up, and we hardly don't have anything here built yet. But yeah, it's basically a mirrored design. Each of these has 100 heat exchangers and a quarter of the turbines and a quarter of the steam storage, and then we got red wire measuring the level of the steam on this side, and then also the other side. On this side we measure on the inside, on the other side we measure on the outside. They should be even, but just just for safety, we measure on the outside of the steam tanks out here. And that's the design, basically. I mean, theoretically, I could have hooked up all these steam tanks to directly measure. Basically, I'm using, these are, it turns out to be 68 of the 744, was it? Yes. And, using that, the average filled of these 68, it's 17 on each side. But, I could have hooked them all up, because it turns out red wire is free when placed by bots. But one, that would have been tedious for me, and even though it's free, I would still think it's somewhat inefficient to waste, even though they're not being wasted. Yeah, so we have a requester chest here, a buffer chest. And these are all requester chests. They are, I believe they take 5, and I thought that was set. Let's set it now. So that buffer, this one is a little different. This one requests 15 just because it has the belt here. There's, not that they're wasted, but there's some that are sitting on the belt for quite a while. Just because there is no logistics coverage right here in the center. So with the buffer chest, that means we can refill these quicker. The bots don't have to come all the way from where I'm creating these. They can just grab them here quickly, and then bots will come and refill this one. So this will fix the power problem. Hopefully permanently. This will give us 4 gigawatts of power. We had with about 3.5 previously. And then combined with our other power plants, we should be rather good. Looks like I've been blocking the way here. So while that goes, we got other materials that are needed for the 1K science. You're not gonna let me go there. Whatever. Great. Just go. I'm gonna delete you as soon as we arrive. So, there's two other materials that we need. And they're basically independent of everything else. So, I think for the rest of the episode, we'll just test their creation. And then, hopefully next time, I'll have the full system ready for the test of the 1K science. Okay, I did pull out the piece of track, but I never turned you on. Something else I did, I think it was between this episode and the one where we had all the issues, is build out a few more mines. But I think the stone we've had, yes, I do recall saying that we need to put a radar out there. So, where are you? You're going out there. That means you're going out there, right? Let's fix this track and then see how our stone smelter works. It should work okay. It's the same exact design as our iron and copper smelters. The only difference is stone. You need more. You need two pieces of stone to make a brick, where it's only one ore. Let's, I did somewhat slightly improve the production rate of the heat pipes and the heat exchangers. Basically, I upgraded the belt that was supplying them with copper because it was just taking so long when I was building this power plant that we just passed. So it's probably going to take past the end of this episode to finish that new power plant. But we'll see how quickly that gets done. We'll see how well this new double lane. We got a bit of an intersection there, but this is all dual direction or 2-lane track. And then back here, this is only up, north, whatever. Oh, waiting for our defensive train to go by. Now we're heading out. You see kind of behind us is another train that's coming. There should be 3 different stone quarries that we have 3 trains each going to. So that should bring a decent quantity of stone back. Ooh. I hope my bots make it back to me. Alright, let me get a little radar ready. We'll stick 2 of them down here. And we'll do 3. Let's stick you on manual for just a second. Put down... Oh, do you not even have logistics out here? That's a problem. Okay, well, I can reach into here. I can give you a bunch of those, and a bunch of those, and a bunch of those, and what happened to my few of those? But at this point I have to get out. We'll give you some of those and a decent stack of robots and I was gonna say, why aren't you guys getting anything? But there's so many things to place, it takes a while for the game. Oh, and now here's my slow and out of power robots. Yeah, so I'm holding up these trains, but there's plenty of room. Alright, let's get back in. I'm sure the other trains going to other places already made it back. There goes one now, I think. Oh, we didn't quite get the all filled in, but basically there's a little defensive outpost there, so that's a bypass track, because apparently I didn't have one in there. Alrighty, we are back in the main area of the base now. Passing the green, red, and blue circuit production. And we make it back just in time for a save. Looks like we're the first train to, well, let's say we're the first train in a while, if not the very first train. Yeah, none of the top, well, here has bricks. This reminds me of, this isn't used at a high speed, so you know these fast inserters are fine. Yes, thank you for the materials. One of the other things I did is let's see. I have stack inserters now along here. But I've actually changed. Where was that? It wasn't there, and it's definitely not you. It had to be over. Well, come on! I know I did that somewhere. I thought it was on one of these. Now I'm sure I changed one of the smelters But apparently, I don't think that was on a test test map or something. Oh, here it is on the newer copper green circuits. So yeah, comparatively, let's see. Here's our initial green circuit production, and we have 6 fast inserters per car, but each belt really only has 3 fast inserters taking from it. So this is kind of based on another design that I saw someone use. We take each belt, we split it, and underground it to the other side. So this way each belt gets 4 fast inserters, and we're inserting for both sides. Well, not that it's a problem, but we're now have only 4 inserters per side, but now we're doing it from both sides, so we have an extra 2 inserters per cargo wagon, and an extra 1 per belt, which should pull quicker from the belt, so the belt itself doesn't back up. I'll have to see how that goes. We'll see how things go in this episode. If we get full power, maybe we will turn that on and see. So this isn't going quick. Now it doesn't have to. We don't need a large amount of stone bricks. They're basically for electrical furnaces for, I believe, the purple science. We got 1 train coming out to stone 4 here. There's a stone 5 somewhere. That was... Here's stone 5. And we got a stone 3 somewhere. But I have no idea where. We can find out. Hey, where are you? Here's stone 5. Let's... All the trains here. Oh, these are all stone 4s or 5s. Okay, I thought we had some 3s, but... I really have to see if there's some way of... Well... They'll balance eventually. Once this fills up and this backs up, the stone will back up, so a train will be sitting here, so the others will be forced here. It does alternate if there are trains in the station, obviously. But with the distance these go, they take quite a round trip. Why? I guess you emptied first just because of the... Yeah, the priority of how these work out. That's fine. You know, as long as they are... You know, I mean, they are holding some stone and... You know, supplying after the train leaves, so... We aren't using... all the furnaces, because unlike the normal ores, you need 2 stone per brick. But it's doing pretty good. Why are you... Oh, you're already backed up a bit. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. You can see the inner belt isn't like practically moving at all. So we wind up not using a lot of the stone. Let's now, if we upgrade these... It's still not using the inner that much, but it is somewhat. I mean, better than not at all. You see the top here, though, doesn't get stone as often. except for right here, because this is basically the half belt from both ends that gets merged. So this does get some stone from the bottom to fill up these. You see why these are at 1,000 and the rest of these are not quite. Anyhow, this is going. How's our power? Oh wow, we. Oh, you can see we kicked on another power plant here momentarily. The old power plants that I was using has about 330. You can see these are now hooked up. They're probably not producing anything. It looks like we're almost ready to go, if only we had heat pipes. What can I do to improve heat pipes? These got put in a stupid location. Let's see if we can't help the heat pipes along a bit. Yeah, the parking there wasn't a problem. No train is coming to pick up stone bricks yet. Oh, that's the other thing I did. I expanded this way. Just basically see if we, going this way we got real good. I was starting to see how far we'd have to go that way. 19 isn't bad, and then there was a close by 8th, so I'm literally belting over. Don't think I have anything picking that up yet. Let's set you to manual. And see what we have to do. What do you need? Okay. I thought we needed a pipe, but that's obviously for the heat exchanger. Just steel. Why am I looking there? Here's... passive provider chests. Copy, paste. Fast, fast. And away we go. And away we go. Alright, obviously that's faster than we can even... I hope I have a balancer. Let's, crazily enough, it seemed like the steel is what they're missing. Alright, now it's the copper. Probably don't even need those. Just wasting. I really should get a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And... yeah, come on, bots. Can I manually pull these up? Well, yes I can, but the bots are so quick that... There we go. Like it never even happened. You know what? Getting rid of that altogether. Because that's much better. Now, we still have quite a bit to... Okay, maybe not. We really have most of the heat pipes in. We're really producing some power. These are all way over temperature and wasting fuel, but I mean, we have so much that doesn't even really matter. There's still got to be more than that. For the rest of it, let's quickly look back. I mean, we need how many of those? 27. That will come relatively quickly. It's these. How much? Oh, these even have. It looks like it has. It looks like it has a stack, and then 3 more already made. I guess, what do they need? 50, 50, and 20. So it's got enough. It's output blocked right now. I should go change it to so it holds more than one stack. Because how many construction bots do we have, and why aren't they doing anything? We have almost double construction bots as logistics. I thought I had it set so that they only made like, well, let's check here. If Z is less than 1,000 and Z is the available construction bots, so this should only operate if there are less than 1,000. Okay. Well, maybe there was at one point, but we're only using like 200 now? Not even? Alright, we have one other little used material that I wanted to test out. And we're getting close to how long I want these to last. So let's remove that. So let's head over there. See what we got there. Yeah, I forgot this was on the far side. Oh, I did it over here as well. So we'll get to see here how that that type of well, no, we won't. I probably shouldn't have done it on the steel because the steel takes a while. And yeah, it won't get output as much. So where you're, these are all going to some new. They're mines dedicated to steel. So let's. And of course it saves. Let's hop in one of these trains. And see how things go. Hey, it's our turn finally. Get fueled up a little bit. And we're on our way. Slight slowdown as we apparently go through a little bit of traffic. Slower traffic ahead. Probably a train pulled out from our main station here, causing us to slow down a bit. But we're on our way now. Past our oil plant and our nuclear reactors. So far, no train deadlocks, so that's good. We now have both the steel and the stone trains running. Our bots should finish this little shortcut. We may have passed it already. Yeah, we're going... Oh, here it is. We may never see those bots again. Yeah, we're going way out down this line. Not sure exactly which one of the ore deposits we're going to, but it's definitely one way far at the end of the line, which is why I had so many trains. Alright, we're all full. See more trains heading out. We got a train ahead of us, one behind us. We'll slow down as we wait for turning traffic. Looks like it may be about a 4-minute trip. But we're not back yet, so we'll have to see. And it might be closer to 5. It's actually one of the few places closer into my base where I still have a small section of one-way track. Yeah, that's gonna be 5 minutes there. So it's like a 5.5-minute round trip. Alrighty, how are we doing here? We got ore coming in, being turned into plates. They get grouped together and get turned into steel. Yeah, definitely didn't need all that. But it looks like someone is going through to the other side. So yeah, the idea is that this should be able to take a full belt and get it packed into the chests to fill a train. And it should be slightly quicker than the other design. I'll take the minute or two to walk. Let's check in how the power plant is going, and then call it an episode. Actually, it looks like it's going decently. Let's mine the train. Still a few more reactors to install, but we got most of them in, and we got most of the turbines in. And these should actually start... Oh. It looked like it was filling up with steam, but it's really not. Yeah, each of these lines should actually be able to fully use up the steam produced if the demand is there. And because not all of them are in yet, these are probably producing or could produce more steam than can be used because it's just not, hey, there's no turbine yet there. I mean, it does look like we have all the heat exchangers in at this point. And there's no place even to put lights because there's no power in the center there. I did wind up designing this on a, in creative, and it was, all day all the time, I should say. So I didn't think about lights except for these over here to show the status. Yeah, so yeah, a few missing turbines, but everything else is in. So this, I mean, should be our main power source, hopefully, and well, this is still toggling on and off, it appears. How's our... But we're keeping the lights on for now. And as soon as that comes, like, okay, great, that's great. This one isn't even coming on anymore, which is great. And then I'm sure once this is fully decked out, you can see when the second one kicks on. But in a bit, this will be our main power. Yeah, because while they're, like, all of these turbines can't be used because, like, hey, there's a missing turbine further up in the row. So this will, even with the number of turbines it has now, it could produce all our power if they were just hooked up correctly. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. And we got our steel going. Of course, not at the moment. Oh, here we go. Another train load just got dropped off. Again, we don't need much steel for. Let's see, steel. Yeah, like 2 belts worth. So maybe I'll have to throw a few more trains on here. But yeah, we're going at a decent pace. And yeah, we'll see how things go. I think maybe next time we'll test this. I don't think we'll have enough space science. We'll probably hook up this green circuit and this iron smelter and then see how things go. But yeah, we only have, well, this launches maybe every 2 minutes, and we have 2 others that launch every 6 minutes. So I'm thinking we're going to need more space science. Maybe 1 more of these. But then that may now require another iron and copper smelters. And I'm not sure where they'll go. So yeah, that's all from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with some more Factorio.